So notes on factoring. The first three, it says factor out the, great, you can do that. Go ahead. I'll give 3 minutes for you to do that. And then we'll come back and just check the answers. Just the first three, okay? 1, 2, and 3. That's all I want you to do for 3 minutes. Just 1, 2, and 3. That's all I want you to do for 3 minutes. Once you have the answer to your fact and GCF, can you please help your team compare the answers, and I'll just call 3 students to give you the answers. Talk it out, guys. Feel free to talk. Hey, how'd you do that? Hey, this is what I got. I'm always right, so I know this is right. You know? Be confident. Convince your friend that you're always right. Factor it out, Brandon. Not yet. Wait. We'll get there. My children were here many years ago, and that's what I told them. And that's what they did. You guys are done comparing answers? Okay, here we go. Emma P, what is the greatest common factor for number 1? 4M. Do you guys agree with Emma? Is that the final answer? Box that up, take a nap? No. Yeah, we want to, but no. Okay. So guys, when you guys are factoring, okay, it's kind of like finding factoring out the GCF, that is. You're finding the greatest thing that they all have in common, and then you divide it, okay? So when you're taking out the 4M, what's left over? Okay, 4M, so 16 divided by 4 is 4. M squared divided by M is an M. Then bring down the plus sign. 12 divided by 4 is 3. M divided by M, those will cancel. True or false? And what's left? N. And that's our answer, and we'll box that up. Then the second question, James, what does the second question have in common? X and Y. Do you guys agree with James? Box that up, call it a day? No. Okay, we're going to go in and we are going to divide each and every term by the common factor. Okay, so inside the quantity, Brooke, what's left over?
2x squared minus 3y to the 4th.
Do you guys agree? Okay, box the entire thing up, not just the GCF, not the leftover. All of that has to be. Hannah, what does number 3 have in common? What's the greatest common factor in 3? 5. Okay, so divide, divide, and divide. Okay, so once, Kai, what's our final answer? 5 times what?
5x squared 2x minus 35.
Okay, so I'm sorry, one more time, I can't.
5 x squared.
Oh, x squared.
2x minus 35.
X squared minus 2x minus 35. Someone confirm Kai's for me? Confirmed, thank you. Perfect. Okay. That's how we find the GCF. Now, eventually, you're just going to get a question just as factor. It's not going to ask you, oh, take out the GCF first, and then do this, and then do that. So when it just says factor, you always want to check for what first? Always what? The GCF first. You do not go anywhere without taking that out first. Okay. So number 4, factor by grouping. That means you should have 4 terms in there. Do we have 4 terms? Perfect. Do we have a greatest common factor? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I hear yes and hear no. Those people who said yes, what can we take out? Does that have an 8? No. Okay. Do they all have an R? No. So there is no greatest common factor besides a what? 1. Okay. Factor by grouping is exactly like the name that it says. We're going to regroup. If you have a pencil, this is how we regroup them. You normally group the first 2 and then the last 2. Sometimes you will have to move things around if the first 2 and the last 2 don't work. Again, sometimes you have to move things around if the first 2 and the last 2 do not work. So, the first 2 terms. What is the greatest common factor there? 8r to the second. You're right. What's left inside? R minus 8. Perfect. Well said. I'm going to hold on tight for that one. The second group. Joe. What does it have in common in the second group? Huh? A 1. Okay. So Joe said it really perfectly. He said nothing, but nothing is not a 0, right? You could always factor out a what? A 1. Drop down your plus sign. Factor out a 1. When you factor or divide by 1, what's left over? Itself, right? Whatever's there. So what's what? R minus 8. Now I want you to look. Your 2 groups. Are those 2 groups identical? If they are identical, that's a GCF, right? So guess what we do with those GCF? We factor out. If we factor out, what's left over? 8r plus 8r squared plus 1. Right? So that's how we factor by grouping. 8r squared plus 1. Now, question number 1. If I were to distribute that out again, what should I get? If I were to multiply that all out, what would I get? 8r to the third minus 64, r squared plus r minus 8. So if I multiply this back out, y'all, you should get the original. Okay. So box up your answers. Now let's move on to number 5. How do we want to group number 5? How do we want to group number 5? First 2 and last 2, or should we rearrange them? Try it first. Yep, always try the first 2 and last 2 unless you can't factor, then rearrange. So first 2 and last 2. Okay. The first 2 terms, what's the GCF, Victoria? Did I not mark her absent? Sydney, what's the GCF for the first 2?
2x squared.
So 2x squared, yep. 2x, oops, that's r, 2x squared. So left over is what, Chance?
6x. And plus 1.
Did you guys agree with Chance? Is it 6x plus 1 or just 6x? It had to be a 6x plus 1. Because guys, when you guys are factoring, we are really doing what? Dividing. Okay. Cautiously on the second group. Okay. Brayden, the second group. What do those 2 terms have in common? You're right. What else? Yes. There's a negative right there. Drop that down. You're technically factoring out what? A negative 5. Okay, so this is what that means. So when we factor out negative 5, what's left over, Madison? 6x plus 1. Check out your two groups. Are those two identical? That means that's the greatest common factors. So can I factor that out? Yep. So now, what's left over, Anthony, in the second factor? 2x squared minus 5. Perfect. Box that up. Okay. Number 6. This is an 8. Sorry, I typed that incorrectly. Go ahead and work that out. I'm going to shuffle your cards. If 5 of us get it perfectly right, I'm going to draw out your cards randomly. Then we don't need to go further for today. Go for it. How long do you think you need? How about 3? 3 minutes. Go. That's an 8. Yeah, sorry, I typed it ignore. So we will have 5 students drawn out with your deck of cards. We'll take a break after this if 5 of us are right. And feel free to talk to one another. Try it first. Give your brain a chance to work it out. You can switch whatever you want, but always try the first 2 and the last 2 first. Once you have an answer, I want you to talk to your friend. Be like, hey friend, I got this. What did you get? Hey friend, do you need help? Did you guys check your answers already? Yeah. Who needs more time? No one? Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Amanda, give me your answer.
7x plus 4 and 4x.
Remember, we want to say 7x plus 4 times?
Times 4x squared minus 3.
4x squared minus 3. Why is my pen dragging like that? Okay. Delaney, what's your final answer, hon?
7x plus 4 and 4x squared minus 3.
My pen is not working well. It looks like a ghost. I think so. Emma H., what's your final answer?
7x plus 4 times 4x squared minus 3.
Everyone's gonna give you the same answer.
So, Brandon N.
7x plus 4.
And Baron, what's your final answer?
For number 6?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 4x squared minus 3 times 7x plus 4.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Good job. That's the end of our day.